Okay, there's more than one way to use DSTAR. You can use, of course, a DR mode, or you can use the memory channel. And there's pros and cons for both, but I think the memory channel approach probably you will like better. Okay, first of all, I'm just going to demonstrate the end result on the Icom 52A Plus anniversary unit. If you notice, local repeater, the CQ, and the BG reminds me that I got my call sign set for CQ, 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 and I'm using RPT B because it's UHF, and G for gateway. So it more or less, just by looking at, I know the configuration, especially when you got a dozen or two different repeaters. So this is channel 00. If I go to channel 1, I have it replaced with echo. And this memory is programmed to turn on the echo command. And if you notice, I have the word skip put in, especially if I'm scanning. And let's say someone...
Linking to N-O-N-E.
There you go. Someone else just tripped this. It wasn't me. And anyways, as I was saying, someone is talking and you're scanning. You don't want to stop in this memory and turning on echo, for example. So that's why I have skip. If you go back to 0, oops, the other way, it's not set for skip. Okay? Echo basically allows you to transmit, talk, and then when you release, it will play back your audio. So it's a good way of checking how well you're getting into the repeater, plus your audio quality, if it's low or high. And then the next one is information. It will tell you if it's linked or not linked. The status. And then you have unlink. Once you link to a reflector, depending on the policy of the repeater, or you may be in a very quiet area, not very much activity, and you just want to monitor while you're working away. So you can leave it on again until the time's out. Otherwise, busy, you can unlink, and the way it goes. Now, this is what I've done for reflectors. I have about a dozen reflectors that I like to check, and each reflector has its address. Now, there's a space between the X and the 1, but that's only for readability for me on the screen. The actual command layout, there's no spaces. It would be XLX103B, no space, and L for link. So, as you can see, I have a whole bunch right here. Okay, it's not very busy. Let me see if I can see what happens if I... let me pick one up. Let me just pick one here. Okay, here we go. VA6ALY linking.
Link to XLX197B.
VA6ALY, Calgary, Alberta. Just doing a demo. Okay. VA6ALY unlinking.
Not linked.
This setup that I have for the Icom 52 Plus is identical on my Icom 705. I mean, you can go into DR mode, for example, like this. Right now I had it set for information, but let me select that, and if you select reflectors, you can do the echo test, stuff like that. And if you want to do local, okay, this will be local. If you want to use the link, then you got to go look for it. You've got a list of 2,500 stations there. I've alphabetized it, so basically I can find it pretty quick, like this. But if it wasn't alphabetized, I created a list that's suitable for me. Okay. I had to pause there, so sorry about that. If you're going to be using the repeater list and you're just using what comes with your radio, have fun finding what you want. So what you can do is create your own repeater list, which I have done. In fact, I have several versions depending where I am. I could just load and restart. But still, initially setting up what I did may take a little bit of time because you've got a program. But afterwards, it's very easy and quick. And I'll give more details as I go along. Okay, let me get out of the DR mode. Now, I'm going to hit the quick button. Select a group. Just trying to remember if I have one that has not been modified yet to demonstrate it. Let's see if we're on the gateways. Okay. Okay, we have KM. Let me verify that one has been modified. Call sign. Nope, it has. Great. Let's go back. Okay, let's assume this is the repeater that is in this memory channel. You want to do an echo command. Now, I've entered the echo command in my database and exported it as a CSV file, and then import it, put it on the SD card or use your USB cable. I like to use the USB cable because it's quicker. I'll talk about that later. However, there's one problem. In Icom's wisdom, they decided we're going to strip any spaces. So I have 7 spaces before the E, and they strip it during import. However, when they save the file, like I exported, if I had spaces in my memory, it will be there. So it's a one-way street. Import strips it, exports it, it puts the proper spaces. But re-importing that same file doesn't fix it. So that's the only negative thing about it. Fortunately, you don't have hundreds of local repeaters. You probably have 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. I know we have half a dozen here, but unfortunately, a lot of them are down right now. And some of them are not DSTAR. So basically, you can count them on your hand. Okay, this is one of the Calgary repeaters, I believe. Maybe not. No, maybe it's in Edmonton. I can't recall right now. But I'm going to use this because I probably will never use it unless I'm traveling that way. So how do you fix that when all the spaces are stripped? Well, select the channel that you want to edit. Hit the MRMW, memory right. Okay, I hold it down, and you get a pop-up menu that says Copy to VFO. So I scroll down and hit the center button on the joystick right here, copy, and I say yes. It's complete. Now I need to edit, so I go to menu, you go to settings, and scroll up to the first page where it says call sign. Once you do it once, it will stay there for several other memories that you end up adding later. Okay, so I hit enter. There you go, we have the E, but no spaces. Hit the quick button. It's important to hit the right buttons. And you select edit. Okay, then I hit the clear button, this top one right here. I just clear everything. Then I use the right arrow, the low on the joystick, and I just scroll right across until it stops. Then I take this button right here. I want an E, so I scroll to hit an E. Hit the joystick center button. It's now entered. Hit it one more time. Now you have the spaces. I go back to menu. And then I go to MR. I hold it down. And this time I say write to selected memory because I'm in VFO. So I hold it down. And hold it down one more time. And I say overwrite. Yes. Now, just to verify, you want to move the channel or memories so that you can verify this. And then just go back to main menu, settings, call sign. There you go. It's all set. So you have this option. You know, at most you probably only have half a dozen, 6, and you can see it doesn't take long. And once you have it, it's there. This way you can bypass the DR mode completely. Okay, on my screen on my laptop, I'm going to show you the way I have it set up. I think I should be turning down all these volumes here while recording. But then again, it gives you an idea of what's going on in the background. Okay, let's pause. Okay, let me open up my database. I created a group named DSTAR links. This is for one repeater, which I demoed, V6RPT. The CQ, this information, you have 16 characters. And this information is visible on the screen, both the 705 and the 52A, so you know what that frequency is set up for. It's set up to do a CQ call, and is going to go through repeater 1, B, and repeater 2, G for gateway. And there's a space between the call sign and the B, and a space between the call sign and the G. That's important. Okay. And if you notice, I got skip turned off. I go to the next one, and the skip is on. And the reason for that, if I'm scanning this channel, in this particular case, I probably never will be scanning, but that repeater may be in a different group name. So if any of those echo info onlink commands in any other list would skip on and you're scanning, someone starts talking on the repeater, if you don't have the skip, it could stop on info, it could stop on echo or on link, and then you go to transmit and you're on link, or you end up repeating what your call sign, which would be not very nice. So to minimize that during scan, it just doesn't get scanned. Okay. So that's why it's important to put the skip, which is very quick to do. And if you notice, I have the spaces already put in. Unfortunately, when it gets imported, those spaces are gone, and you see the E, I, and U. Now, you're connected to the repeater, and you want to do a reflector connection. Again, in order to understand what that channel is doing, for readability, I put a space between the XLX and then 103. And then the B would be the VHF, UHF, whatever system, and the L will be a link. Now, this is the way you have to enter it. I'll have to zoom in on there when I edit this. But you would enter XLX 103, B as in Bravo, L as in Lima, no spaces. And you do that for every reflector. Now, when I go to use my radio, I just go to the reflector I want. Be sure, it's clear, not in use, and transmit. And you'll get information that you're linked to whatever link you've selected. And when you finish, move back to channel 3 and hit unlink, and it will unlink it. And then you can leave, or leave your radio if you just want to monitor. Again, I put skip in all these because I don't want to accidentally link something. So with that precaution, things should work well. And this setup that I have for the Icom 52 is identical for the Icom 705. There you go. The only difference is I've got these red channels. They're simplex channels for DSTAR monitoring. Other than that, it's identical. So as you can see, I have the 7300, the 705, and the 52. I'm not sure which radio I get, whether it be getting the 5100 for the mobile or the 2830. And of course, I have my repeater lists. And I have all the Canada DSTARs all grouped in one group. And then the rest of the provinces, Alberta and so forth. And the FM radio, 284. Every FM radio station is in the memory. If I'm in Banff, I know I just go to B on my list and I can pick up all the radio stations in Banff. Okay. I should mention one thing. To set up the echo and info and unlink command, it's identical basically on the Icom 705. However, it's a couple less steps, but just as easy and just so quick. Hopefully this information might benefit you, especially if you're just starting up on DSTAR. You know what's involved and what options you have. If you have any questions, leave a message and I'll respond to my best ability as soon as I can. Generally speaking, I've been doing it reasonably quick. So far, all is good. Again, it would be appreciated if you haven't subscribed. Please subscribe. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And also, if you want to be reminded of other videos coming up, Put on a notification. This way you don't have to check every so often. You get notified. Until then, have a nice day.